I am an old woman now. My hair is white and my hands shake when I hold a cup of tea. But I remember my childhood like it was yesterday. I often think about my grandmother. She raised me in her small house at the edge of our town. I loved her more than anyone in the world. She was warm. She was kind. She always had a story to tell and a hug ready for me. But there was a time when everything about her seemed to change, and it took me many years to understand why. I was 10 years old when I first noticed it. My grandmother started acting strange. Every evening, right after dinner, she would wrap half of her food in a cloth and put it in a bag. She did this quietly, without saying a word. I asked her why she saved so much food, but she only smiled and said, "Waste not, want not, my dear." I did not think much of it then, but it did not stop there. She began asking neighbors for old clothes, old blankets, anything they no longer needed. She never explained why. She stored old shoes under her bed. She kept jars and empty tins in a corner of the kitchen. She counted her coins carefully, refusing to spend even a little more than she needed. My mother said she was becoming stingy in her old age. My aunts whispered that she was losing her mind, holding on to things like a woman afraid of the future. I believed them. I thought my sweet, generous grandmother had turned into someone else, someone smaller, someone afraid. Every night after dinner, she would leave the house with her cloth bag. She told us she was just going for a walk. But her walks were always the same time, always the same direction, and always alone. She never let anyone come with her, not even me. I felt hurt. I felt pushed away. I did not understand why she kept these small, quiet secrets from the people who loved her. One evening, I decided to follow her. The sky was turning orange, and the streets were almost empty. I stayed far behind so she would not notice me. She walked past the market, past the old well, and finally stopped at a small hut on the edge of town. I had never seen this hut before. Its walls were made of mud, its roof was patched with old tin sheets, and the door was just a piece of cloth hanging in the frame. My grandmother knocked gently and called out a name. A woman opened the door, thin and tired, holding a small child on her hip. Behind her, two more children peeked out, their eyes wide, their clothes torn. I watched from behind a tree as my grandmother handed over the cloth bag. The woman's eyes filled with tears. She held my grandmother's hand and thanked her again and again. My grandmother just smiled and said something I could not hear. Then she reached into her pocket and gave the woman a few coins. The children ran to her, hugging her legs, and for a moment, my grandmother's tired face lit up like the sun. I stood there, frozen, watching a side of my grandmother I never knew existed. She was not being stingy. She was not losing her mind. She was saving, sacrificing, and giving away everything she could spare to a family who had nothing. My chest felt tight. I had judged her. I had let others convince me that she had changed for the worse, when really she had only grown quieter about her goodness. That night, I could not sleep. I kept seeing the woman's tearful eyes, the children's thin arms, the mud hut with its broken door. I wanted to know more. I wanted to understand why my grandmother carried this secret so carefully, hiding it even from her own family. The next morning, I found her sitting by the window, sewing a patch onto an old blanket. I sat beside her and quietly said, "I saw you last night." Her hand stopped.